insurgency here tonight, I promise you. We have 3 featured readers. Mark Olmsted down from Portland, Daniel Yarian, Bernadette McCullish, who is the force behind the poetry brothel. She will tell you something about that, I'm sure, when she comes up. I won't talk a lot about our poets, except to say briefly that they are all on the spectrum, so to speak, the spectrum of language, and they are all different iterations on that spectrum. And we are going to have a fine variety, starting with Mark Olmsted, who's going to be up first, followed by Daniel Yarian. Bernadette is going to close us out, and I will say just very briefly that Mark Olmsted is solidly in the beat lineage and the post-beat lineage, stretching back to the period of high modernism of William Carlos Williams, as recounted, with some infusion of North Asian poetry through the prosody of haiku and tanka, and the Chinese classics. So they all feed into this, and welcome Mark Olmsted.
Shade of the car we're trying to sell, an energy drink substituting for a nap, burning manic in the brain. I will wear my Vampiro wrestler t-shirt to the Dharma Zoom group now. Vampiro, the Canadian wrestler who made it big in Mexico and has a collectible action figure. Vampiro, the oath-bound, local protector, locopala of my skull palace. Vampiro, the goth bodybuilder, as if a Misfits missing band member, and whose daughter is cute and wise beyond her teen mind. Mom looked like a Telemundo star and is now his ex. I am Vampiro, inseparable in the imagination, grotesque, full of groans, Golgothic, with thorn crown of abashed folding chair, blood, charismatic, unstoppable goth Hulk, who is Frankenstein already.
From Sorcerers Through Dimensions Infinite. It's a collaboration I did with my friend Fitz. He did the art, I did the poems. First one, Empire of More. Of course, you probably can't see that from where you're at by the door, but this is crazy looking guy. Looks like he wants to take everything, own everything. That kind of shit. Empire of More. It starts with a man-made well, and a man with the darkest heart, gasping for breath, entombed in the planet's girth, pulling himself up and out from a pool of greed, of minerals, roots, and shiny mud, connecting a network of life familiar with death. A self-planted crop growing more fearsome with each day of self-preservation. Consuming everything, all for one, all for nothing, gone! As for Sandman, tiptoes upon the tree mats, and dirty laundry, false and phantom, hung out to view, filled with dead actors, plus alive ones, sharing silently the same succubus siren visions, sent down staring with x-ray eyes, through pool cue blue chalk orbs into life's velvet metallic blue forefront menagerie, backdrop, top and crop of oxygen fields, picked, plucked, and administered to the shadowy spectacle joys of Good old blind rockabilly royale, playing in the Tequila Palace. Definite visions of sugar brains, raining apple seeds, draped indelibly upon the Mexican skyline like some distant Texas chainsaw kin. Camera death. Snapshots, hostage takers, suspend figures on laps, held in glass traps, on walls, in cases, in the dustbins of antiquity. These photographs have watched all cameras die. Snowflake melted ecstasies outliving the Hasselblads, Kodaks, Leicas, Canons, supermodel asses slightly elevated from the hoods of Model Ts, catching tigers before meeting their makers. Pinholes of magic produce modern miracles that grapple souls like stressed monks toiling with this mortal world. Merely
for that introduction, and thank you for having me and having this amazing event at this beautiful place. Really cool. I was thinking about your question, and I've always been a lover of language, but I got an MFA in poetry, right? And my dad said, "What are you gonna do with it?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. What am I gonna do with it? I guess I'll write." And then I became an adjunct professor for a while, and I made no money. Any other adjunct professors in the house? No? Nobody? You don't know one. Two, teacher, right. Well, adjunct professor is different, right? So I got a degree in teaching English to speakers of other languages, and now I make like a high school teacher salary, which is like double what adjunct professors make. So a little better, but, so I guess I don't know. I'm gonna do, I heard you guys talk that this was punk rock tonight, so I'm gonna do the most punk rock thing I can think of, which is read poems about my dead friend who overdosed. Right? Thank you. I feel like maybe we all have that experience. And this is called Are You Experienced? On our own midnight scavenger hunt, I buried Joe under a castle of sand on the Sound shore, and with a groan sang love and confusion because we were both in love with the same boy. He told us stories about riding motorcycles in Croatia. He learned English by listening to doo-wop, and he dared us to jump in a fountain in front of Ride Playland. Before we were afraid to get sick, and only a few years after school nights stopped mattering, we did. And at 5 a.m., I invited Joe to join us in bed. But there was no room for two boys beneath his red sheets. Not in his tradition, not in his religion, only in his closet of porn, only in his fantasy, rolling on ecstasy, shit on the fleece blankets, my hair in his hand, Julia dancing in the other room to Foxy Lady, and Joe jacking off in the bathroom to Madonna. Thanks, man. This is Summer in the City. I'm from New York. And when time broke again, I found you lurking behind the clock. When it got hot in New York, my mother visited me. Her cold hands held mine. She wanted to know why you're not alone. Why you're not alone. When it got hot in New York, no one told secrets, no one screamed, no dreams were safe, no love was had, and no crystals could save us from body bags. Eyes. Peel his eyelids back. Stretch them up over his head. Remove each globe. Watch as his body levitates full of grass. Tiny blades beneath. Even though he cannot pull them out in clumps, his hands still bleed as we digest. Throat. He was not afraid to turn to dust. After we sever his larynx, cook it in stew. He won't be able to sing in the afterlife, but he can still smoke. Heart. Tastes like bruised fruit, almost too rotten to eat. Salt it, maybe brine it for longer shelf life. Consume with the inner circle only. Slice for easy sharing. Brain. Best served chilled in a ceviche glass. Oh, someone's coming in. Hi there, come on in. Enter. No, wait. We lived in Old E and dumped Dutch guts like it wasn't littering. He promised to show me spring, loaded his cross, and turned on Cannibal Ferox, sang, "Make them die slowly," as an anthem for a doomed generation with 1 foot out of the bush and cut off from a pipeline that promised 9 to 5 steady checks and divorce. We lived in color, in films without hope or satisfaction, and altered our minds off exit ramps. We took down signs. We lived after dark, outside in fields. We ran from headlights and hid from cops, but unafraid to be caught because we lived white and wild. And he died alone in a crack house with his boyfriend. I drove away. I left him. I lived. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, for what? I wanted to be a geisha, take the name Nirvana Ko, and I spent a while in Japan, but I had to let it go. I wanted to be the mistress of a wealthy, handsome Sikh who would give me land in India and diamonds I could keep. But I realized these are fantasies, I left them all behind, and I learned the art of loving, and I earned this with my mind. Now I found a man deserving of the arts which I was taught, and I'll begin in teaching him the mysteries of the arts. I shall give myself to one man, for the one thing I have found is a woman who loves one man is truly never bound. And the highest form of learning, as the Kama Sutra says, is a man can handle many loves, a woman one instead. Alright, well, it's time for some fun here, more fun here in our punk rock house. And their name is Strawberry Money. juice runs down your leg. Come on, squeeze your bag. Until the juice runs down your leg. The way I squeeze your lemon, you gonna fall right out of bed.